everyone. So in today's class, we'll be talking about paper 2 of your sociology optional. So if we compare this paper 2 with your paper 1, then this subject talks more about the Indian society. This subject is related to Indian society, how the subject sociology is immersed in the Indian society, and who are the prominent thinkers that work in the development of this subject or in the establishment of this subject in the Indian society, and what are the different approaches or what are the different work or what are the major contribution of these sociologists, and how the things changes over time, how the things changes from the historic era to the present contemporary industrialized world. So how these changes occur, what are the viewpoint of all these sociologists or all these personality in the development of this social change process. This subject is more contemporary in nature. If we talk about the current affair related to the society, like you will get the regular basis current affair for the social issues, society part, social justice part, then the current affair from that part can be used in this subject also. For example, in current affair, we saw many news like the participation of women in the workforce, like feminization of poverty, the concept of feminization of poverty, like the way or the laws enacted to empower the women. So there are many things that is happening in the society for the underprivileged section, for the women section, and there are many disparities and inequality that exist in the corporate sector, in the education field, and many more topics can be seen. So all these topics can be used in this particular paper. How we will use this, how this can be added, how you can use the data or the example in your answer writing, we'll see it later on. We'll discuss the PYQs, we'll take out the question that this question is asked from this topic, and how you can use your contemporary knowledge to ace good score. Everyone writes certain answer. The fact is similar for all. Be it you, be it or any other student, everyone read the same thing about the thinkers, about their concept. But how to present that will help you to ace the good marks in your answer writing. And we will work upon that in our classes. Okay, so if we talk about sociology, what is the topic that we are going to take? We are going to talk about the famous eminent personality, that is M.N Srinivas. M.N Srinivas, if we talk about the full name, that is Mysore Narasimhachar Srinivas. Now, why this personality is important? Before M.N Srinivas, the person who studies the Indian society is G.S. Ghurye. And G.S. Ghurye was also known as father of Indian sociology. Father of Indian sociology. G.S. Ghurye was working on the Indological perspective. G.S. Ghurye was working on the Indological perspective, whereas Srinivas were working on the concept of field study. He was mentioning the relevance of the field study to study the Indian society. Now the question is, what is Indological study? Or there is a concept that is Indology. We will study the concept in very detail when we will be covering G.S. Ghurye. But right now here we will see the basic meaning of the word Indology, that studying the Indian society or knowing the Indian society. Studying or knowing the Indian society with the help of the ancient text. Like there are ancient texts, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Ved, Upanishad, the book that Arthashastra written by Kautilya. So the ancient text, when you are using the ancient text to derive the knowledge about the Indian society, how the earlier society was, what are the changes that occur over the period of time, what are the changes, and what are the probable reason for that changes. So when you are using the book for that, this is also known as book view. When you are sitting, book view, or we can say armchair method, when you are sitting on a chair, when you are simply sitting on a chair reading a book and deriving the knowledge out of that book. So this concept is known as book view or Endology, when you are getting the information about the society from the book. But Srinivas go ahead of this concept. He went ahead with this concept and he focused the relevance or the significance of the field study. He mentioned that to study Indian society, we need to be on the field. We need to participate in the society. So he followed the concept of the participant observation. he mentioned that we need to be the part of the society. We need to be interact with the people of that society. We need to be reside with the people, or we need to be regularly interact with the people to get the information out of them. So what are the areas of his field study if I talk? So firstly, he studied two places. One is Rampura village of Mysore. He studied majorly two society, Rampura village of Mysore and Kurg, that is in Karnataka. And what information he derived from these two society? He studied the caste system over there, he studied the family orientation over there, he studied the concept of religion over there, and out of which he gave certain theory. He gave certain theory that we will discuss one by one. All of his theory are very prevalent till the date. So we will study that one by one. He was highly, M.N Srinivas was highly inspired or influenced by the Western thinkers, or he worked under the Western thinkers when he went to study in the Oxford University. So he studied under A.R. Radcliffe Brown. And later his work, earlier A.R. Radcliffe Brown was reviewed the work of M.N Srinivas, but when he retired, then Srinivas' work was reviewed by Evans Richard. His work was reviewed by Evans Richard. And we can say that M.N Srinivas was a structural functionalist. What is the word that we are using? That he was structural functionalist. There is a word and we will focus on this word. That what does this word talk about? Structural. The word is structural functionalist. Okay. So here we see two words. This concept we will see in book first also. This is the topic with regard to perspective to study sociology. There are various perspectives like functionalism, like structural functionalism, like conflict theory, symbolic interactionism theory, and there are many thinkers who went under each and every theory. So if we talk about M.N Srinivas, he is considered to be as a structural functionalist. Now what is this? Structure is something that structural functionalists are the people who believe that everything in the society has a structure. Just compare it with the human body. Like human body is made up of certain parts. Human body is made up of certain parts and every part has its separate function to perform. And if there is a disturbance in any of your body part, then our whole body will be affected. Like for example, if I have a high fever, then it will impact my body, right? It impact my body, my energy will be drained out, I am not able to perform certain functions. So one body part will impact the functioning of other body part also. So similarly in society also, society is made up of certain structure. If one of the part is not working properly, like for example, there is a structure economy, there is a structure of polity, there is a structure of law, there is a structure of family, there is a structure of kinship. So all these are included in the social structure. If for example the economy is not functioning properly, you saw that there is inflation in the economy. So then economic disturbance will also impact the social as well as the political disturbance. So that's how with this viewpoint the structural functionalist people work. That each and everything has a structure and each of the part has its separate function to perform. So these on the basis of this approach, we can say that M.N Srinivas was a structural functionalist. He put more focus on the field study rather than the ideology. And if we go further, then we can use that M.N Srinivas was using micro concept to frame macro theories. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this micro and macro word? As it is clearly evident with the name, micro means something that is very small and macro means something that is very large. So he is using the micro part of the society, like the family, individual religion. So he is using all the micro part, and he is using these two places as his field of study to frame the macro theory. What are his macro theories? Like we'll name certain theories, we'll name certain concept that is given by M.N Srinivas, and later on We'll discuss all these concepts one by one. We'll discuss all his concepts one by one in the further classes. So first concept is Brahmanization. Brahmanization. And later on he termed this as Sanskritization. Then we have his concept of dominant caste. Dominant caste. The other concept given by him is Westernization. And the other concept that we can see is secularization. So on the basis of his study, on the basis of studying the micro concept of the society, he made certain macro theories, and these are some of the examples of his theory or the concept that he mentioned or studied. Right? So we'll discuss all these concepts given by M.N Srinivas one by one. So firstly, let's talk about the concept of Brahmanization and Sanskritization. For this, we need to understand the caste hierarchy that is prevalent in the Indian society. Later on, we will discuss the Varna model and the caste model, like what is Varna model that exists earlier and what is caste model, and what is the difference between these two models, right? But for now, just understand that the Indian society is divided just like this, right? Indian society is divided just like this. On top, we have Brahmins, then we have Kshatriyas, then we have Vaishyas, and then we have Shudras, and all of them have separate function to perform. We will discuss this concept later on. For now, just keep in mind this division. Just keep in mind this division. So what M.N Srinivas mentioned with the concept of Brahmanization, he said that the lower caste of the society, the people or the group who are in the lower caste of the society like Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriyas are trying to imitate or copying the upper caste. They are trying to imitate or copying the upper caste of the society, which is Brahman. Now the question arises, why they are copying the upper caste? Why these people or group is copying the upper caste? The reason is they want social mobility. They want upward social mobility. They want to move upward in the ladder of this social hierarchy. Despite of having the money, despite of having the wealth, they are not getting that status or prestige in the society. That's why they find the reason for that, and they try to give up their culture. They try to imitate the culture or the behavior or the pattern of the upper caste. So this term by M.N Srinivas is known as Brahmanization. That when the lower caste try to imitate the culture of the Brahmins. But later on, he expanded his theory. Later on, he observed certain things and he expanded his theory by saying that it is not only Brahman who are being imitated. It is not like that lower caste people are imitating the Brahmins only. No, the people of the lower caste trying to imitate the caste which is dominant in their region. For example, there is a region, there is an area where Vaishyas are dominant, or we can say where Kshatriyas are dominant. Then the lower caste will try to copy or imitate them. Right? For example, if any area, Brahmins are not in majority, but the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are in majority and they are the dominant, they play the dominant role over there. Then what will happen? The lower caste will try to imitate them. So in that case, the word Brahmanization will not fit into this theory. So M.N Srinivas, by expanding his theory, renamed the concept by saying it Sanskritization. And Sanskritization is nothing. It is a situation or the process by which the lower caste trying to imitate the upper caste. Now the lower caste may be Shudras and Vaishyas, Shudras and Kshatriyas, Vaishyas or Kshatriyas, and Shudras, Vaishyas, Kshatriyas to Brahmins. Now the lower caste or dominant caste may be anyone, right? Lower caste will be in the lower hierarchy of the caste group, caste hierarchy, and upper caste will be at the top. So this is the concept of Brahmanization, which later renamed as Sanskritization by M.N Srinivas. I hope this concept is clear to all of you. and we will discuss these concepts later on in the later class. Dominant caste, westernization and secularization. All these concepts were given by Srinivas. We will discuss one by one. We will discuss this later one by one in detailed manner, and we will also discuss the positive and the negative impact of Sanskritization. Like Sanskritization is positive in terms of that the division of the caste will be eliminated. We'll be able to eliminate the division of the caste. But it is somehow negative also, like you are degrading or you are ignoring your own culture. You are ignoring your own culture to be someone else, right? So there are certain positive as well as there are certain negative facts about the Sanskritization. So we'll discuss it with the other concept like dominant caste, westernization and Sanskritization. So hope it is clear to all of you. Thank you.